So here are some galactic queries for you, and you can see my shirt here. Star Trek sounds cool and everything, but I look at the stars all the time and use my little app Starwalk 2, which teaches me all about our constellations. So I've always been interested in um galaxies and stars and planets, and it's been since a really, really young age. So these apps that are so futuristic now and so cool, I can see what is going on up in space. We can see the satellites, we can see the planets, the stars, and the constellations even. So Ophiuchus is one of my favorite constellations, just as big as Hercules, actually. So up there, they're sizable in comparison, and I love seeing that. And Ophiuchus is actually the in our history a healer. He was one of the mortals who learned healing powers from snakes. And then, you see his constellation up there actually catching the snakes and then, learning from their powers. And it starts with Serpens Kata, and then Serpens kaput, one in his right hand and one in his left hand. The tail, I believe, is in his right hand, and his left hand holds the head. And I find that so funny. And, super great healer with herbs and everything like that. And that's something that I'm passionate about quite a bit. And then also, Alpha Rats, for some reason, that planet always sticks out to me. It's actually Andromeda's third eye, and she's one of the constellations up in the sky as well. She was a princess, I believe, of Ethiopia, and her story is actually quite sad, but I won't get into that today. But she's one of my favorites, and she shares that star with the Pegasus constellation, actually. And Pegasus, flying on the back of those wings. I remember watching Fantasia growing up, and the the flying horses or the Pegasuses, they were always my favorite. The little horses with the wings on the back of them, hiding under the trees during the storms. And I'm here in upstate New York, and we have had quite the lightning and thunderstorm like the last night. And um today's been a bunch of rain, but luckily it's not too bad in terms of thunder and lightning. The rain seems to have stopped so far, um but anyway, in Fantasia, those little horses, they were just hiding from the storms under trees, and as Zeus was striking them with lightning. But actually, I actually really like Hindu gods. So I often speak to Indra, which is a Hindu god comparable to Zeus, and very powerful. And then Vata is actually the god of thunder. And I read a beautiful book last year called oh, Nature's something. Oh goodness, but they were mentioned in there, and it was a beautiful book. And um, there's gods in our skies, and they happen to be Greek gods and stuff like that. That's just what was written. But all of these people who looked up at the same sky from where I stand now, at the northern hemisphere, right? But that's what we see here, is Ophiuchus. So I guess I am curious to know what the southern hemisphere looks at. But, I see Andromeda, Pegasus, Aquarius, Pisces, Capricorn. It's a Capricorn moon tonight. And, that ram, I believe that's what they are. No, goats. They're goats. So the Capricorns are goats, in the zodiac signs. And that she's sort of pushing that ball over to Sagittarius, it looks like, the moon that is. And Sagittarius was it looks like they're battling in a duel with Scorpio up in the sky. It's really funny. So it's galactic, right? It's just in the stars. It's written in the stars. I love these things, and I, would love to travel to space someday, but who knows if that's ever really going to be a possibility for me. Um but these stars and systems and um it's a full moon tomorrow night, right? I mean, it seems full here. It's huge and orange and gorgeous, but um yeah, I guess happy full moon, because here's some weird zodiac constellation knowledge being dropped up in here. And I even get to watch like the Starlink satellites and stuff, and I sort of followed the satellites track down through its path earlier today, and that was really cool to see, because I mean, I'd love to see what they're seeing up there, if there's anybody in there, um but anyway, these are just fun things that I like to look at. And the stories of our constellations are quite funny and sad, actually. Andromeda's story is a tragedy. um so Andromeda's husband was killed, and she was left in slavery, basically. Not slavery, she was just kept as a prisoner, and her son were, and she was even kept from seeing her son. And her captor was, oh, I forget, but the story is quite tragic. Her husband dies and she's kept captive, and her captor loves her, is in love with her. And I think that's why he doesn't let her go, because he wants to marry her or something. And so he doesn't let her go. And I don't know the end of the story because I'm still reading it. The Andromache play is about Andromeda, and that's been a cool play series, because Berenices comes next, right? So Berenice's Coma is another galaxy that oh, a constellation actually. And yeah, I have sparkly nails. Um Anyway, I love the stories, so I'm sort of reimagining them myself, because I like to pick apart what's true and what's not, and I'm just a nerd on this stuff, and I want to know the history of our constellations. It's just really, really fun for me to pick apart and ask questions about, right? So, if any of you know the true stories about like the Andromeda galaxies or um Ophiuchus, those are my two favorite. Well, and Venus. I love Venus too. But and you know what? I gotta learn more about Jupiter. But it's learning. There's always more to learn, right? There's always more to learn. So that's what I am doing, because it's fun. So I'll continue asking galactic questions and sharing my theories and hypotheses and prophecies. We'll see how this goes. Have a good night, guys, and happy full moon in July. Eee.